Okay, we are.
I don't know. If you realize that.
A lot of it is right.
Chairman Dudley, you want to get started? School Finance Committee meeting to order. The print start with resolution number 497-024. Authorization to enter into a contract with Berkeley Life and Health Insurance. Move it. Second. Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolution number 498-2024. Authorization for the Director of Community Service to access the Kurt Almer Trust Fund.
Move it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
The recording is still going, just so everyone knows.
Good. I was gonna ask.
So, yeah. So adders around.
Yeah.
So I told.
Right.
Service.
Yeah, just, yeah, I'm gonna try that now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's no service. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Discounts on tremendous.
So one thing is,
From areas that I know that didn't work with I mean, I didn't know everything, but I know that like on 66 from Chapman. Hudson's terrible, that's foundation. Now we're happy.
Oh, I know you're.
We have just and out of that community. We've had 2 in there before today. Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Years ago.
I'd like to call the board meeting to order. Please rise for silent prayer followed by a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to request the clerk call the roll.
MacArthur.
Here.
Whiteout.
Here.
Owens.
Here.
Simmons.
Here.
Stats.
Here.
Adams. Here. Wolf.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Riley. Eldridge. Here. Elsley.
Here.
Warchuk.
Here.
Livonia.
Here.
Cousin. Here. Mia.
Yeah.
Schmiedus. Mussman. Here. Scalera.
Here.
Desi.
Here.
Bolton. Here. Morel.
Here.
Not.
Here.
Skoda.
Present.
191.2 present and 8.8 absent, 11 quorum.
Thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing for the 2025 budget, and I'm going to ask the clerk to read the notice.
Please take notice that there will be a public hearing held in the Columbia County Board of Supervisors Chambers, 401 State Street, Hudson, New York, on December 11th, 2024 at 7 p.m. to consider the proposed 2025 operating budget for the County of Columbia. A copy of the tentative budget are posted on the Columbia County website or may be obtained by the clerk of the board at the clerk of the board's office at 401 State Street, Hudson, New York, during normal business hours. Please take further notice that said budget proposes the following as for salaries of officials published herein in accordance with section 359 of the New York State County Law. Supervisor, 17,000. Deputy chairman of the board, there's two of them at 21,000 each. Majority leader, 21,000. Minority leader, 21,000. Chairman of the board, 34,000. The public hearing thereafter followed by a meeting of the board of supervisors to consider any such other or further business that may come before the board by order of the clerk of the board, Kelly Escaro, dated November 27, 2024.
Thank you. Do any supervisors have any comments about the budget? I was trying to look at Supervisor Stats.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to start a little differently this year. This year, I want to start off by thanking you and everyone involved with the budget process. I know it was a long, hard budget to go through. PJ, Briggs, all the supervisors involved. So I appreciate everybody's work on this. It doesn't mean I agree with it. So I'm going to start out with my same argument. I have two arguments, actually, the same two arguments I've had in the past several years. Except for this year, we have actually additional $4 or $5 million fund balance added to last year's argument. Every year with raising taxes, not should say every year, one year we did not raise taxes, but the last several years we've raised taxes and our fund balance continues to grow $4, $5, $6 million a year. I feel that it's unnecessary to raise taxes, the extra $1.5 million, $2 million, raise taxes to just keep adding to our fund balance. The fund balance is accumulating on its own, will accumulate on its own without that extra additional added tax. So that is my main argument with this, the same as last year, the year before, that we continue to say raise taxes on top of the money we're raising out of fund balance. And I just feel it's unnecessary, and I think the people of this county need a break. So that is the reason why I'll be voting against this budget. Second issue still hasn't changed, subsidizing solid waste. I've said this for years. I've argued this point for years. I do not think we should be, as taxpayers in the county, subsidizing solid waste. There's several supervisors in this room that agree with me. I just don't understand why they keep voting for a budget that approves it. Because all we're doing is voting for it to keep subsidizing some of the solid waste, which I do not think we should be doing. 33, the study we did, 33% of the county uses solid waste, and the other are private carriers that don't use it at all. And we're all paying for this. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's right. This is health and human services. This isn't a vital service. It's trash. I think that we need to stop subsidizing solid waste. And those are my two reasons for voting this budget.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other supervisors have any comments? Supervisor Mia.
Thank you for everybody giving the time for the budget. But I have a mixed feeling. Mixed feeling is this is the tough time for the constituency, everybody. Very tough time. Even state try to give the money for the like a COVID check or like that. They put it in budget because they realize too this is a tough time. I understand we have to every year we have to look at a better way to look in when to raise the taxes, one a better way to look at it up to. I know you guys doing very well job. I'm not this, but I have a very mixed feeling about it. I don't know what can I do. Maybe I'm vote for no. Thank you.
Supervisor Dudley.
I have to say that we have worked hard on it, keeping in mind that we did want to raise taxes. And also very much concerned that our fund balance. We need to have a fund balance number to keep our budget correct if something goes wrong. When we got into COVID that time, we wanted to dip it into our fund balance considerably to keep ourselves afloat. We need that emergency fund. It's like everyone here has a piggy bank, and this is our piggy bank. It may sound like a lot of money, but when you look at a budget that's $180 million budget, it's not crazy amount of money. Now, we just don't keep building that fund balance. As the budget goes up a little bit, we have a fund balance policy, so that'll tweak up along with it. But when we have additional monies above and beyond, which we don't need, we don't keep it, we don't build our policy more, we use it. We use it for other areas that we would normally have to bond. So we're not building our fund balance and hoarding all this money at all. We're taking some of it to offset. We actually use some of our fund balance to offset our budget this year. You know, these budgets are getting, as everyone knows here, just living in your own residence, your numbers go up higher. Everybody's numbers is going higher. And insurances, gasoline, everything. So same thing with us. We have union contracts we have to deal with. We have expenses that go up. We have different programs that we're mandated to do. And that cost of expense gets added into our budget. We spend a lot of time to work that down. We've spent weeks and months started working these numbers down to even get it where we are, not to use all of fund balance. So bottom line is that we don't want to see the taxes go up at all. I live here, I pay taxes, we all do. None of us want to see it go up, believe me. But we need to keep the county healthy. That's important, that if something goes wrong, we've got something to fall back on. And that's really all we're doing. So I just wanted to bring that out, that's something that we all need to kind of realize. Thank you.
I will note that over the last 12 to 13 years, on average, the taxes have gone up probably 1% on average. So I think we've done pretty well keeping taxes low over the last 12 to 13 years. Anybody else? Supervisor Hoagland.
So I want to start by saying thank you to everyone that worked so hard on the budget. I was on the committee. It was not an easy budget. A couple things that I want to highlight. Since I came in as supervisor, I would be sitting at public safety meetings or finance meetings for new hires, for our deputy sheriffs, for our corrections officers, and going, $42,000. Are you kidding me? I could make that at Stewart's. I could make more than that at Stewart's. So I have really been pushing that everyone that works for the county should make living wages. It's a really important thing for me. We did that. And I was really proud of our union negotiation team. And I was really proud of the supervisors for getting those wages up to a living wage, which is really important. But those wages get paid out of our county budget. Health insurance. Across the board. In New Lebanon, we had a 16% increase. So what are our options? Decrease the quality of health insurance that our employees get, or increase the cost that we pay for health insurance. That comes out of the county budget. So it was a tough budget. Nobody wanted to increase taxes. I actually pushed a couple years back to not decrease taxes when sales tax was up, because I knew that a couple years later we would be here having to then increase. Had we just kind of stayed stable, we probably could have said that we just stayed stable for 3 or 4 years. That would have been my preference. But for the public, we're getting back to about what it was before we did the decrease. So I know we won't be thought of as the board that decreased taxes. We'll be thought of as the board that increased taxes. But the reality is we went down to now come back up. I do hear what you say about solid waste. I agree completely. I have been talking about that all year. I do want a commitment. I've heard a commitment from this board that we are going to have those conversations now, not at next year budget season, because what happened when we came into this budget season, it was too late to really dig in. So I want to start working on that now. We should not be subsidizing. We either provide garbage services for everyone through their taxes, or we don't. We can't say some people, get subsidized garbage services through my taxes, but I pay for my own dumpster. That's just not fair. So one way or the other, we either need to subsidize it and everyone gets it, or we need to make sure that we're charging what it actually costs us to run a solid waste department. On fund balance, In conversations with PJ, I heard what you said at the budget workshop, and I agreed with you that if we have a huge surplus of 2024 fund balance and we're at the limit of our fund balance policy, then really we should be below the limit and we should maybe pull more fund balance to not have a tax increase, which I know is your argument. According to PJ, in 2024, we had always underestimated sales tax. This year, we were right about where we're going to be, which means those millions of dollars usually that would come back into fund balance are not going to. I would like to sit down, PJ, as a board, after we know what that fund balance left over in 24 is and talk about it and dig in. I'd like to understand better some of these other accounts that I know my colleague has been talking about, tax stabilization. What are they meant for? What are the overall balances? Because fund balance is, the unrestricted fund balance is one piece. What are the other pieces? What is their purpose? Just so I can understand it better. Because if what you're saying is true, then I agree with you in concept from my conversations with PJ. It's actually not happening that way, but I want to really dig into that. So I can't say because I haven't dug in. I'm going by what PJ is telling me. PJ is great. I trust him. I also hear what you're saying. I agree with you conceptually. So I'd like to actually look at those numbers after 24 fund balance is final and dig into what does that really look like. But I will say that with some of that excess fund balance, which we did have this year, we did some really necessary repairs on bridges, on roads, on buildings. So if we end up with some fund balance coming over, it's not that we're necessarily overtaxing. It's just that we have these big capital projects that really need those investments that have been maybe neglected for a while. And also the vacant position work that the Point One committee is doing. I think going into next year's budget, we're going to be in even a harder situation. I think wages and health insurance and costs are going to continue to rise. And sales tax is either going to plateau or maybe even go down. So I do want to have what we're doing now with the Point One, with solid waste, with all of those things, digging into fund balance and really have a better understanding going into next year's budget and have it now. All of that said, I think with the cards we were dealt and with the situation we were in, this budget is a sound budget, and we did a good job keeping the tax increase as minimal as possible, pulling a good amount from fund balance, but not too much, and kind of finding that balance. And thank you to everyone that did that hard work.
Thank you, Sue. Any other supervisors? Does anyone from the public have any comments?
Yeah, I promised I wasn't gonna say anything, but Jim knew better than that. Ray and I get along fine, okay? And we're both in agreement on several of the issues. But again, I just want to explain to the general public and to the supervisors that our fund balance policy that we put in place in about 2018 was a result of us having no fund balance. And over the several years, 10 or 12 years, we were able to grow that fund balance to where it needs to be. Now, we just got a report back from Moody's rating service that says our fund balance, the median fund balance, we are like 43% of the median, okay? In other words, 57% have more fund balance than we do. So I feel very satisfied that our fund balance is not excessive. Our fund balance policy states that we should have about 2 months worth of operating expenses of unrestricted money on hand. And we use our audited financial statements from the previous year to determine how much excess fund balance we have. And we have taken over the last 3 or 4 years, we have taken that excess fund balance and applied it to the following year's budget to keep the tax down. And over the last several years, we've used between $10 and $13 million in capital projects such as roads and bridges, which has saved us from borrowing money, which has saved the taxpayer millions of dollars in interest payments. So I just want to explain that if our audited financial statements say our fund balance policy is supposed to be at $100 and we committed 103, we use that $3 the following year. So we're not adding to fund balance, which Jim explained. We're not adding to it. We're just maintaining it. And I think that's critical, again, for our financial stability for Columbia County to maintain that, because all it takes is one calamity. You look at a place like Asheville, North Carolina, all the climate changes that are happening around, and that'd be gone in a heartbeat. Okay, so we're not, in my personal opinion, we do not have an excessive fund balance.
Thank you, Jim. Any other Comments from the public? Okay, with that, I'm gonna close the public hearing, and we're gonna take a roll call vote on the budget.
MacArthur,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Owens.
Yeah.
Simmons,
Yes.
Stats.
I just have one more comment, Mr. Chairman. The fund balance policy may be kept in check, but I'd like to take a look at all the other reserve accounts as well and take that money into account as well, because several million dollars of other accounts that aren't counted in fund balance that makes the fund balance look like it's in check. But that's something we can take a look at in the future, but I still don't know for this budget.
Adams,
I vote yes for this budget with the support for Ray's suggestion that we re-examine our fund balance policy and the related accounts.
Wolf,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Riley, Eldridge,
Yes.
Helsley.
I vote yes, but again, one thing I do agree with is the solid waste, one, that almost equals the tax levy increase for this year. So I think that's something we really need to look at, subsidizing everybody's garbage collection. So, but I do vote for yes for this budget.
Dvorak,
Commissioner Board Supervisor Stotts, and taking a closer look at the fund balance, I'm going to vote no.
Livonia,
Yes.
Cousin,
Yes.
Mia,
Very hard to give the vote yes or no. I may abstain.
Chemidas, Mussman,
No.
Scalera,
Yes.
Fuzzy,
Yes.
Holtland,
Yes.
Morel,
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
Skoda.
Yes.
171 ayes, 25.6 nays, and 3.8 abstaining.
The budget passes.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna open the public hearing, for local law 1 of 2025. I'm gonna ask the clerk read the notice.
Notice is hereby given that on the 11th day of December 2024 at 7 p.m., the Columbia County Board of Supervisors shall hold a public hearing at Supervisors Chambers, 401 State Street, Hudson, New York, pursuant to municipal home rule law, subsection 20-5, on the enactment of local law 1 of 2025, establishing the salaries of certain officials of County of Columbia. The proposed local law is subject to permissive referendum pursuant to subsection 24(2)H of the municipal home rule law. This notice is given pursuant to a directive of the Columbia County Board of Supervisors dated November 30th, 2024, Hudson, New York. Kelly S. Vaquero, clerk of the Columbia County Board of Supervisors.
Thank you. Do any supervisors have any comments? Does anyone from the public have any comments? With that, I'm going to close the public hearing and take a roll call vote on the local law.
MacArthur,
Yes.
Weigel,
Yes.
Owens,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Stats,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Riley, Eldridge,
Stepped out.
Stepped out.
sorry, I didn't do that. Helsley,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Livonia,
Yes.
Cousin,
Yes.
Mia,
Yes.
Chemidas, Mussman,
Yes.
Scalera,
Yes.
Fuzzy,
Yes.
Holtland,
Yes.
Morel,
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
Skoda.
Yes.
She's not present.
176 ayes, 23.8 nays.
176.2
Sorry.
and 23.8 nays. The local law passes.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to pay the bills, accept the treasurer's report, and file the minutes within the clerk's office.
So
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'd like to ask Supervisor Knott to come up for the purpose of reading a proclamation. Sure.
I just think that you didn't give me.
We can hear you.
Chairman's proclamation recognizing NICEAC's 100th anniversary. Whereas New York State Association of Counties, NICEAC,
was formed 100 years ago to serve as a unified voice and advocate for the 57 counties of New York State, including the 5 boroughs of New York City. And whereas NISAC has consistently worked to enhance the effectiveness of county governments through robust advocacy, comprehensive education, meticulous research, all aimed at addressing the unique challenges faced by county officials and their constituents. And whereas over the past century, NISAC has played an instrumental role in promoting the interests of county governments at the state and federal levels, ensuring that the voices of local governments are heard and their needs are addressed. And whereas NISAC has provided invaluable resources and training to county officials, empowering them with the knowledge and tools necessary to deliver efficient and effective services to the residents of New York State. And whereas through its commitment to research, NISAC has fostered innovative solutions and best practices that have strengthened county operations and improved the quality of life for millions of New Yorkers. And whereas NISAC has built a legacy of collaboration and partnership among county governments, fostering a spirit of unity and mutual support that has been critical to addressing common challenges and advancing shared goals. And whereas the centennial anniversary of NISAC is a momentous occasion to celebrate the association's enduring dedication to public service and its profound impact on the governance and well-being of New York State counties. Now therefore be it resolved that Columbia County does hereby proclaim the year 2025 as the centennial year of the New York State Association of Counties and extend heartfelt congratulations and gratitude to NISAC for 100 years of exemplary service and leadership. Given under my hand and the privy seal of the Columbia County Board of Supervisors, Kingsborough and Hudson, New York, on this day, 11th day of December, Matt D. Morrell.
Thank you, Supervisor Mazur. Okay, I'm going to request the clerk read the resolutions.
Resolution 434 of 2024 to 460 of 2024 by Supervisor Skota.
Mr. Chairman, I offer these resolutions for adoption.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
No,
I'm sorry, which one?
457.
Okay. Noted.
Thank you.
461 of 2024 to 498 of 2024 by Supervisor Eldridge.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a roll call vote on 484, please?
Chairman Morrell, I offer these resolutions for adoption
Okay, we'll do the roll call.
with the roll call.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We're going to do a roll call vote on resolution 484.
Resolution 484, authorization for the Commission of Public Works and the Columbia County Engineering Department and its consultants, CHA, to submit the New York State Department of Transportation a project submittal package for the complete replacement of the existing Stuyvesant Falls Bridge with a new 2-lane multi-girder superstructure and new abutments as the county's preferred design option. MacArthur,
Aye.
Weigel,
Yes.
Ooms,
Yes.
Simmons,
Yes.
Stats,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Riley, Eldridge,
Yes.
Elsley,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Livonia,
Yes.
Cousin,
No.
Mia,
Yes.
Chemidas, Mussman,
No.
Scalera,
Yes.
Guzzi,
Yes.
Holton.
So I'd just like to say that I have had residents of Stuyvesant reach out to me. One important thing for me was where the town board of the town of Stuyvesant stood on this. This proposal, I believe, is the best path forward from a county perspective, from a financial perspective. However, if the town board was not in support of this process the way it's going, then I would take pause. Supervisor Knott has assured us that it's unanimous from his town board, that this is also the path that the town would like to take. And I don't believe it's the place of the county to override the local town government elected by the constituents. I know sometimes with local issues, there are strong supporters and strong opponents, but I do believe the local town board would be the place to bring up those issues to your local elected representatives. So for that reason, I vote yes.
Morel,
Yes.
Not,
Yes.
Scoda,
Yes.
183.6 ayes, 16.4 noes.
the resolution, it passes. So we had a motion from Supervisor Eldridge. Did we have a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did vote on that.
So that's right.
Okay, do any supervisors have anything to bring to the board?
Yes, I got a call a week or two ago from a hotel owner in our town concerned over the short-term rental tax. And, I think she's got a few members with her tonight, other hotel owners who the short-term rental tax had thought and believed it was basically for the short-term rentals because they're not paying any taxes at all. I don't know if you want to speak your mind on that or.
You're asking permission from the
Correct.
chairman
Yeah.
from the floor to speak.
Okay. One person would like to speak, they're welcome to.
I'm Jennifer Osu McDonald. I'm the owner of Old Dutch Inn in Kinderhook, and I'm with Dave Pisano, the operator of Blue Spruce, and Henrietta Paris from Clebricks Vanderbilt Lakeside. There's about 6 hotels in Columbia County outside of Hudson, and we've pretty much all been chatting this week as we just found out about this new law. So I'm here today to ask that you amend that new law so as to exclude hotels outside of Hudson from participating. We understand that the purpose of the law was twofold. First being to get the short-term operators to contribute to the public tax pool, and second, to wrap some public safety measures around these operations. And those two things I think are broadly supported across the state by the tourism industry and by all hotel operators. I think that, so we definitely support those two efforts. However, unfortunately, when you pass this law, you included our hotels in this tax. And the error in that is that we are already contributing to the tax pool. We already charge an extra 8% to our guests, 4%, obviously that gets kicked to the county. And we are already inspected from head to toe many times of the year. I quickly put together a list of the inspections I could think of off the top of my head that my hotel goes through. I have my HVAC inspected twice. I have my elevator inspected twice. This is annually. My fire extinguishers are inspected. My fireplaces are inspected. Our sprinkler system is inspected. Our fire alarm system is inspected. Our backflow monitor is inspected. Our grease traps inspected. My village code enforcement officer comes in and does an inspection, and the county health department also comes in and does an inspection. Almost every single one of those, maybe not one, incurs a fee. So we're also spending a lot of money on all of these inspections, none of which the Airbnbs and the VRBOs do. So the effort to apply some of those standards to them, we applaud. But in pulling us into the tax, you're really going to hurt our business. We are not Hudson. We do not have the occupancy numbers that Hudson has. I could count on 2 hands the number of weekends in a year that my hotel sells out. I'm talking to our other operators. We have a lot of vacancy. We don't have skiers. There is no snow. Lots of the attractions, especially in my town, close for most of the year. Our national parks, our museums, our art galleries, they're closed. We don't have full rooms. Hudson has full rooms. If you ask them how many weekends in a year they sell out, it is months. I'm talking less than 10 times a year that we sell out. So I know that the sentiment is you're not taxing us, you're taxing our guests. But that's included in the price when guests book rooms. So by making our tax go from 8% to 12% is making our prices go higher. And we can't bring our prices down. This extra 4% is just going to come out of what we're taking home. And when I say we are family owned and operated. None of us are owned by Hilton or a Marriott. We're just like the hardware store down the street. We're supporting our kids, and my mother-in-law works here. My mom works here. My husband is my handyman. I mean, we are small businesses, family owned and operated. So I know that the law is already passed. I wish we had been included in the conversation. To my knowledge, none of us were approached by a supervisor, and we only found out through the papers.
Well, if I could just point out, though,
Yeah.
this was in the press for quite a while.
somehow we all missed it. But I do think we have a lot of value to add to this conversation, and we would be eager to have that with you and be a part of it. At the very least, can we slow roll this tax out and give it to the literally hundreds of Airbnbs that are not contributing to this tax pool currently? See if that solves your budgetary needs for the inspections that they need to have, that we don't need to have. We're not going to incur any more expenses. We don't need any more inspections. They do. And then if that doesn't solve the problem, let's have that conversation about including us later. So
At this point, I don't think we can do that based on the fact that it's also state legislation that passed to allow us to do that.
which
So it's
hasn't
not-
yet
it's
been
not
signed by
just-
the
it's not
governor,
just
right?
County legislation.
Right. Right, and I'm aware of the state legislation to bring Airbnbs into the tax pool, but I don't think the governor has signed it yet, so that's.
No.
yeah.
They passed a special legislation to allow us to do the occupancy.
Okay,
But thank you for your input.
Can I ask a clarifying question that I may have misunderstood? When Supervisor Chimides was talking about Hudson and the way the draft was worded, I believe you said, well, it's up to 4%. So even if we left the word Hudson in the law, because Hudson already charges 4%, none of the county. So if they're already getting charged 8%, wouldn't that same logic apply?
You're talking the occupancy tax, and that's us having an occupancy tax. When I say us, the county versus the city of Hudson, right, to have one. So they have one, so we can't tax over that. That's the point. What she's mentioning is the New York State sales tax, which is they're subject to. That's the 8%.
Got it.
And there is a current law in the legislature for sales tax to apply to Airbnbs. It's sitting on the governor's desk.
So if that were to pass, then both Airbnbs and hotels would get 12%
Yes.
or 4% plus
Yes,
the sales
that's
tax.
correct.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other supervisors have any comments? Supervisor Musman.
Yeah, this is the end of the year, and I know we're facing 2025, and there's a lot of anxiety about 2025 with the immigrant community in our county. I just want to bring that to our attention, that this could be a very harmful idea that could happen to this community that we live in. I just want to bring that up and make a comment as the year folds to an end, that there's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure put on places like Columbia County and the immigrant community that serves us and helps us in our farms, in our restaurants, etc. And that we stand up to the harm that could happen to the people that live here and work. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any other comments? Supervisor Stats?
I'd just like to say thank you to the clerk's office for the, she's gonna say, yes, appreciate that, and wish everybody a happy holiday and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other comments, before we adjourn, I wanted to wish everybody happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
And we'll see you on the 30th, which for our year-end meeting, which is going to be at 2 p.m. And then our organizational full board meeting will be 2 p.m. on the 6th of January. So thank you all, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Chairman.
I'll get some questions.